Record. That's fine. That's fine. Oh, that's
Is this
even
good?
better.
Is that good?
Hey, good morning. Yeah, that's great. Now my video's off. Okay, now we're in. Finally,
Yeah.
Alessandra. Is that right?
I'm matching your energy now.
Okay. Am I saying it
I'm
right?
enjoying it.
Alessandra.
Alessandra.
Alessandra Mariotti.
Alessandra Mariotti. Alessandra
Alessandra.
Luisa Mariotti.
Alessandra Louisa. Your mom's name, Louisa. I was going through your Instagram. Super cool.
My grandmother's name was Luisa.
Nonna.
My nonna.
Wow.
Yeah,
I
you
love.
went way back.
Yeah. So,
That's cool.
thank you very much once again. So I know time is precious. It's probably the most precious thing we've got. I don't know if you would agree with that. Probably is.
You mean on the grand scope? Yes. I mean, I'm having a little bit of a day off, which is
Oh,
amazing.
good. Well
But
done.
yeah.
Because you always seem to be so busy. Whenever I meet you, you're always rushing, rushing.
I think that's also just in my nature, unfortunately.
Okay. Do you remember? Because I really don't remember our first meeting or how we first met. I think the first time I spoke to you was probably in Espacio Pulpo, but I'm sure we must have met each other a thousand times before that. Do you remember?
Yes, I think you paddled into the pool of Son Beltran with your son at some point one day when I was down there.
Ah, the little pool in Lucalcari or somewhere like that.
Ucalcari or Son Beltran or one of those
Wow.
places. Yeah, I think it was a sea meeting.
Well, that's pretty romantic. Anyway, it's
Yeah.
okay. And then I always look at your thing and I always thought it was ale holistic dining. This is my stupid Scottish up, but it's not ale, it's alley, right? Alley holistic
Uh,
dining.
It's Ali, and some people read it as alcoholistic dining.
Alcohol, yeah, that would fit for me as well. Okay. Ale, but it's
Or I have friends who've come to me saying, Ali, I thought that said alcoholistic dining, which is great.
so
Kind of the opposite of the intention, but I love it. Ali holistic dining. Yes, because when I trained as a chef. I trained as a chef about 10 years ago now. I was a fashion designer before,
okay.
um, and transitioned into this new career out of the desire to do a job that kind of didn't feel like a job, strangely enough, because um, when I was designing, which was kind of the dream I had from when I was very, very, very young, it started to feel like something that I had to force myself to do.
Yeah.
And at the time, I had a boyfriend who is who is was a musician, and I would watch him create so effortlessly as if it was part of. It was like he had to creating life for him was it was breathing for him. It was one of his kind of
Hmm.
survival needs. And I used to watch how he would do that, and I would realize that I would have to sit down and force myself to design. By the last few years, obviously, when I was younger, it wasn't the case. And the one thing that I kind of always naturally just always wanted to do at that point in my life was cook. And so I was really, really, really feeling just no matter how tired or depleted I was, the one thing I always had the energy to do was to cook something and create something in the kitchen. And so it kind of became this interesting choice to change over to that. Um, and so I went and did the whole kind of professional training and put myself through fire to kind of learn as fast as possible. And it kind of all got to a point where I realized that if you're going to start a new profession at a certain age, especially, it has to have some kind of force for good. It can't just be another selfish endeavor or ego-centered endeavor. It has to have some force of delivering something good to the world. It has to have some kind of way of existing that needs it to exist, that kind of creates yeah, um, a good intention. And for me, I just didn't like that after my training, I was kind of finding myself buying kind of kilos of cream and kilos of sugar and kilos of just of junk to make food that didn't really need to exist. And there's a lot of stories and long stories behind everything, but a large part of why I started cooking was because I wanted to make, I wanted to help people who I knew who had a lot of allergies and couldn't eat anything, had never enjoyed food. I wanted to help them enjoy food, the food that I loved.
Hmm.
So I was finding ways to bring that food to them through alternatives, through healthy alternatives or through ingredient alternatives. And then also, when I lived in London for many years, I was sick all the time. And I started to, I kind of developed a bit of a Nurofen addiction at a certain point where every day I'd wake up and take a Nurofen because I always didn't feel.
Oh my God, you've gone. Where are you? Shit. What's going on? Oh, you're back.
Sorry about that.
That's okay. That wow, you've covered about
I t-
my 20 of my questions already. Let's keep going.
yeah, sorry. I like to talk. But I think what I was saying was, yeah, so because I had kind of got so unhealthy, I needed to find a way to make myself healthy. And I don't know if it was like an article or it was something that I'd seen at some point, but I kind of discovered this concept of this I discovered the concept of Balinese natural medicine, and they have
Right.
something in
Ayurveda, is
Bali
it?
called,
No.
well, Ayurveda. No, Ayurveda is more from
Different.
India, but
Okay.
in Bali they have this. They make these tonics called jamu,
Okay, well.
and they have many different types. But there was one in particular, the recipe that I came across, and it was a turmeric, tamarind, galangal, which is a form of ginger tonic that they would have when they didn't feel well, and it's like a
Hmm.
really strong anti-inflammatory painkiller, cancer preventative, all those things. And I was just fascinated by this thing, and I started trying to make it with what I could make it with in London. Obviously, I couldn't find certain
Hmm.
ingredients, but I started making that and started feeling better, and then kind of became the beginning of this deep dive into learning about how to um, heal myself through food.
Right.
Um, and and then kind of when I went into the kind of professional training, that went all into fine dining, and it was kind of the opposite of that. And weirdly, I ended up kind of, I think I've nearly killed myself a number of times through cooking.
Oh, really?
Well, yeah, because it's one of the most physically and mentally exhausting jobs you can do, and yeah, my
Mm.
body has struggled a lot through it.
Mm.
However, the holistic side came, yeah. So when I had completed that kind of period within that realm, I kind of came out of it for a while and remembered that I really, really wanted to focus on the health side of food. So I started kind of studying in my own time. And then what happened was that my mother was diagnosed with cancer.
Hmm.
And I remember that when I used to kind of self study and self teach, I used to think I knew everything. And the second that somebody so dear to me got sick, I realized I knew absolutely nothing, and it absolutely terrified me. So we went through that time together, and I was gathering as much information as possible from everybody who had been through it or who had somebody who went through it.
Which cancer
And
was it? Which?
it was it was in rectum cancer. It was
Right.
like a
Okay.
lower rectum cancer.
Okay.
And mom got through it. Mom's doing
Wow.
fantastically well.
Well, really
Uh,
well.
yeah. She really did.
That's great.
I'm trying to address this again without turning off the. I
Mm.
got an earpiece in to hear you properly. But yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, she survived it miraculously well, and she's doing fantastically. And we've passed the whole 5 year post window,
Well,
which is beautiful.
that's great.
Um, but that was kind of my message to you've got to study this stuff properly. You got to know what you're talking about because you can't give health information randomly. You've got people's kind of lives in your hands when you're telling them to eat this
Mm.
or not eat this or take
It's
this
one
or
of the
don't take
things they
this.
don't tell kids about, just the basic stuff about food and drinking water and maybe doing a bit of yoga. It's all the things that they miss at school. You know, I've got a 13, and I feel like these things are so important and no one's telling anyone about good food or just drink water and maybe do some yoga. And they're taught all this bullshit and it's really makes me sad.
It makes me super sad, and also I think the thing that makes me the saddest is I'm starting to realize how much of it is not taught because they can make so much money out of us not
True.
knowing.
Yeah, they don't want you to know, right? It's the simple
They don't
things.
want us to know.
like
And
this,
I'm
man. And it's
yeah,
and they want you to buy it when it's in Sawyer. I can get it from 2 minutes, and people still buy it. It's weird.
it's yeah, and they buy it and they buy it filtered, and then you lose all the minerals inside, and then you have to buy all the minerals that you have to take because you're losing all them. But
All the
it's
answers are
crazy
right in
because
front of our noses, I think, and we just miss it. It's like a trick somehow, like a brain trick.
I mean, the funny thing is because I used to live in cities, and I now try and spend pretty much like 95.9% of my time in nature.
Yeah,
And I
well,
think the
we're
strongest
lucky.
message you get from that is that the strongest message I've got from spending most of my time within natural surroundings
Hmm.
is that we are the same as plants. We have the same basic needs as plants. We need water, we need solid nutrition, and we need sunlight. And we need
Hmm.
to be surrounded by a biodiversity of other plants, not in a
Right.
monoculture.
Yeah, and if we're told that from an early age, it's great. But now, like, I'm like way past 50. I have to try and heal all these poisons that are in my body and my head. And I hope I can, it comes and goes. I still have a beer, but um it's like if the kids were taught that from an early age, the world would be such a different place.
No, for sure. But you say because what you said, you still have a beer, therefore you feel like you don't.
Well, it's like poison everything. I mean, I still eat fried food and put a lot of poison in my body, and it's insane to do that. It's a form of insanity.
It's a form of insanity, but I think also at the same time, having been part of this health world for the last, I don't know, so many years, I think to be too extreme, to be too
Mm.
dogmatic as well is also unhealthy. And the best thing I
Mm.
found is balance, right? So you're
Yeah.
not going to live a life where you're just doing all of the right things and not having a beer and not having some fried food and not having, whatever gives you a bit of pleasure. But for
Mm.
me, if you outweigh it, if you balance it out with mostly kind of positive habits or healthy habits, then you have space to have those pieces of enjoyment.
Right. Yeah.
I think when you kind of go, no, I'm going to clear it all out, I'm going to just do the right thing all the time, it doesn't last. It's not sustainable.
Hmm.
It's unrealistic. But for me, like if I can focus on starting my day with the right little rules, it gives me space for all those little pieces of pleasure that I also want to enjoy. And then also pleasure on the grand scope of things done properly makes you healthy too. So it's not just about, the behavior of eating well and working out. It's also kind of the emotional pleasure that you need as well in
Hmm.
life that kind of makes things good.
Yeah. Anyway, let's go back like I don't know, where were you born? Tell me where you were born.
I was born in South Africa,
Oh shit.
Johannesburg, South Africa. Yeah.
Sorry. I
Yeah.
mean, but yeah, shit. Oh fuck. That's one of the
No,
play.
no.
Shit, fuck, because that's one of the like because I know that you were in Jordan and we had a conversation in the street, and you put the t-shirt on. And I really thank you for that because I was going through a big trauma, and because I'd just been to an apartheid state, and I just experienced what I thought was the Second World War, and I think I just got back, and I'm still traumatized. That's part of the reason I'm doing this. But so you were
Yeah.
born in South Africa in I imagine the 90s?
Well, no, I was born in the 80s.
Okay, wow, you're looking great. Okay, anyways. So, and when
So I
did
was
you
born in
get,
apartheid South Africa. I
yeah.
remember the day that Nelson Mandela
It was
was
so,
freed.
God.
Yeah, yeah. The first years of school were apartheid. I only we only went to an integrated school. I think was when I was maybe 6 or 7 that they started to
Okay.
integrate. Yeah,
And so, it was a white only school, must have been, right?
up until the age of 6, 7. Yeah, and then from the
Six or
age of six,
seven.
seven.
Do you
Yeah, yeah,
remember much about it?
yeah. Oh, I remember everything. I
What
remember
was
a
your
lot. South Africa.
earliest memory of it then? Your because mine is like an evil Knievel toy or like a motorbike thing. But do you have like a really
Oh,
earliest memory that's strong?
of life or
Yeah,
of
yeah,
living in
life,
South Africa.
life. Yeah, yeah, life.
I've always thought my first memory of life was something related to our swimming pool. Being in the swimming pool in our house in South Africa, we had a swimming pool.
Mm.
Um, it's funny because I used to have an incredible memory, like clarity of memory of everything. And actually over the last couple of years, probably to too much stress, it's
Oh,
starting to fade.
you're working too
And
much.
so working too much,
Yeah.
unfortunately, I think being a woman going into like the age they have, it kind of the brain fog comes in as well, unfortunately, coupled with the work.
Mhm.
Um, but yeah, like the edges of all these clear memories have started to become quite fuzzy. I've started to realize
Right.
recently, but it is definitely something related to being in our pool. But
So,
I do have a lot of memory. Like I think my memory goes back quite far, and I've spoken with friends who can't remember anything before the age of like 12.
mm, yeah, I'm like that. I've got a
um,
few flashes, and then actually, I don't remember puberty, and I'm trying to,
wow.
yeah, I don't really remember much about things changing. But so it was a swimming pool, and what? Just a swimming pool, right? A
I
toy or
think it
something
was something. I think it was something related to being in the pool. But
in the
then,
pool.
for example, I also have an incredibly clear memory of being 6 and uh, South Africa, living in South Africa. My father was away, and and a group of people had organized to come and uh, rob us and held us at gunpoint for the
Oh
day.
God.
And um, and I remember the sequence of that whole day, like
Whew.
from from putting on a top that belonged to my mother, trying something on, and hearing screaming downstairs, and running down because I thought my dad was back, and my brother was playing with my father because they used to play fight all the time. And
Mhm.
there was a guy actually dragging my brother by, I think, the ear down the corridor, and then grabbed me under the other arm and started dragging us down the corridor. So I remember that day visually very, very, very clearly. And how
Again, you've gone. Oh my God. You always go at crucial times. What are you doing with these headphones? Probably you don't need headphones. You can just get rid of the headphones.
you're gonna have to do a lot of collaging here. Yeah, it's
No,
it's my headphone. I'm
it's
so
okay.
sorry.
No, it's fine. But it's always at this crucial point, and I'm trying to think, yeah, it's kind of wow,
it's my
that
it's
is
my
big
it's my
bug.
avoidance.
So is everybody okay from that?
Everybody's okay.
Okay,
We
wow,
are all we
that's
are all okay. We are all
right.
okay. We're all
You
well.
got
Yeah.
through it. And well, you better tell me what happened because keep going.
It's funny. It's one of those memories that I don't actually. It's not traumatic for me, which is so
No,
strange.
no,
No, because actually, what I remember the most was how my mother reacted to it and how incredibly strong she was, because she showed us pretty much no fear. Like she was
right.
just like, "You guys stay calm,
Was that
look down."
kidnapping or was it money or what? What were they after? Or
They,
stuff?
they,
Did
they
you have?
came in they came into the house to rob us,
What did
essentially,
you have?
to
Like
rob us.
TV or jewelry or?
They wanted to get into the safe. So I mean, I
Okay.
think we had a in South Africa you have, back in the day, the way things, you'd have a staff that lived in house. And I think that one of our staff had maybe mentioned to a group of people that we had a safe and stuff in the safe,
Right.
and they were after the safe. And yeah, and so they kind of came in and knew exactly where it was and took my mum with us, kind of at gunpoint, to open the safe, and then put us in a room. I mean, it's a graphic story. I don't think you really want the kind of graphic details. I mean,
Mm. You're all
nothing
okay,
violent happened, but just
right?
uh,
But
but
were you
just
physically hurt or anything? No.
no, none of us were physically. I mean, actually, I think no. I think one of our staff was actually beaten up and physically hurt.
Right.
We were luckily not hurt, but
My God.
there was a certain point where a guy kind of walked a very large. Can you hear me?
Yeah, 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 yeah.
I'm going to take this thing off because I
Yeah,
actually feel like it's going to go again because it keeps on falling out of my ear.
this is not what I
Um,
was expecting, man. That's all I know. But yeah, okay.
Oopsie. There we go.
So they got the stuff and they got away and you were all okay. Let's yeah. more or less.
So yeah, so there was a point where a guy I think came into the room with a very large knife and said if we made any noises, he would kill us. I mean, there was a lot of death threats. And then my poor brother, who was 9, was taken by them to open the gate alone, which I think for him, I think my brother dealt with more
Yeah, to be taken away.
post.
Is that the guy I met the other day? He was looking great swimming.
Yeah,
I didn't meet
lovely
him, but
brother.
he's looking really good. That's good.
He's
Wow. So
gorgeous.
that's who you're talking about. Wow, it's funny to put these story to the pitch. Wow, I'm
Yeah.
still
Yeah, and then
shocked by
the
this. I
incredible
didn't even,
thing, this all happened in the morning. I
yeah.
think it was about, yeah, it was quite early in the morning. Uh, and as soon as they left, my mother sent us to school.
On the same day,
Yeah,
you went to school. You didn't
because
sit and
she
cuddle each
didn't
other.
want it to be this thing that was like, this is so serious that
Right.
you're not going to go to school. She's like, no, no, I'm going to send the kids to school. And it was a really good move because it never really, for me at least, it never sank. I've not,
Right.
I never developed fear of that happening again or,
No.
South Africa was a strange place to live in those years. I mean, after that, I think
How did you end up there? I thought you were Italian. I thought you grew up in some Tuscan
I did
paradise.
too. After that, we left and
You
went
went
to
to-
Italy.
Okay,
Yeah.
so but why? I imagine your father's Italian. Is your mother Italian?
So dad's Italian. His parents were from Tuscany. They
Okay.
immigrated to Ethiopia before the World War
Why?
because Ethiopia was an Italian colony.
Oh God, didn't even know that.
Yeah,
Okay. I'm
yeah,
learning
yeah.
stuff. Yeah. But
Back
why did
back
he
in.
go? But was it a business thing? Was he in the was it? I seen was he in the army or something like that? Or was that someone
No,
else?
he was an engineer, and
Okay. Shit.
I think there was some good work opportunity at the
Well,
time.
okay, fair enough. It's a work thing, right?
And so my grandfather and my grandmother immigrated there. And this was, yeah, pre-war. My grandmother, who is in that picture with the strange cousin the
Ah, the
Hungarian cousin.
Hungarian cousin. Wow, what a photo! What a face! What a
So
great
the so the
face!
so the woman who's like of the medium aged woman, if that makes sense. There's the young, weird looking kind of Adam's
Uh-huh.
family cousin. Then there's the young lady, and then there's an older woman. That's my grandmother. So she
Okay.
was born in 1909,
Okay. Well,
and she died at 109 years old.
109. Wow,
Yeah,
recently.
it's not that long ago. Yeah.
And did you get to say goodbye? Where was she? In
She was
Italy?
in Italy. Yeah.
In
Yeah.
Tuscany?
Yeah. Yeah.
Tuscany, yeah.
Yeah. In Tuscany. And so they moved to Ethiopia. Um, and then there was a whole story. Then the war happened, and she had my aunt, and they were actually put in a concentration camp of sorts by the
Yeah.
English, in a
Yeah.
war camp, not a
My
concentration camp, a
my
war camp.
also my grandfather was put in a concentration camp and then put in a prison ship and then blown up by Hitler. Winston Churchill directed him, so we've both got this
Oh my
trauma.
goodness.
The Italians weren't liked around the Second World War, of course.
Sorry, they were what?
They weren't liked in Scotland either around that time.
Yeah.
My
Yeah, well,
family.
yeah. The English neither. So the English imprisoned the Italians who were in Africa,
Hmm.
in a war camp, which we never speak about what the English really did in those
No, they
years.
done. They were doing concentration camps. They love a concentration
Yeah,
camp in the English, and they were doing the same in the Isle of Wight, and they had, of course,
yeah,
they had boats as well, and I actually opened
yeah.
a restaurant named after this boat in the Yanks, but that's another story. But it's similar. It's funny. These
Crazy.
stories that are kind of hidden in the family. It's just not so long ago. It's only our
Not so long
grandparents, you
ago.
know. It's only
And it's fascinating thing is my
in our
grandmother
blood,
actually
bro.
she wrote an amazing essay about that time, and then then a ship came to kind of get everybody and send them back to Italy. And my aunt, who at the time was very little, nearly died in that whole time. And there's this incredible essay she wrote. I have it somewhere. I have to find it
Wow.
of
Yeah.
that, which is so beautiful to have the emotional uh rendition of that. It's so funny because my two grandmothers are well, my English grandmother's still alive. My
Hmm.
Italian grandmother obviously is no longer with us, but they were so different in the way they are because the Italian grandmother was all about emotion.
Right. Yeah.
Um, would tell us how she'd always felt. So you could always ask her like, how did you feel? And she would tell you stories of her youth, of when she was a little girl, of all that stuff. English grandmother, on the other hand, doesn't connect to feeling. So if you ask her a question of how did it feel when, she can't answer that. But you will ask her a question of like, what did the street that you grew up look what did it look like? She'll
Right.
give you exact detail.
More
And it's such an
practical.
interesting distinction between the two cultures of, the English were not trained into connecting to feeling,
Hmm.
but definitely very good at the visual and description and storytelling. But
Right.
yeah, my grandmother would tell you how it felt, and so you could really kind of imagine yourself going through that experience. Yeah,
Wow.
it was quite incredible. Yeah.
And is it a hand? You've got the handwritten actual piece of paper.
Typed, yeah, it was typed,
Right.
yeah.
Right, that's even better. So, wow, that's
Actually,
great.
I imagine it might have originally been handwritten and then
Somebody typed.
somebody typed it up for her. Yeah, I think so, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow, that's crazy.
I've thrown you, of course, here with your original questions, haven't I?
No, that's okay because we can do like like uh yeah.
Two-part interview.
Out of time. It cuts at 40 minutes and then we just have to wait and do it again because of my Scottish. I don't want to pay for anything, you know. I believe everything should be free. The internet should be free. Zoom should be free, but actually, nothing's free anymore. It's changed. Things have changed.
Well, I believe that nothing's free. Even if we think things are free, it's
Yeah.
not free, is it? Because they
Well,
have, like, that's the contract. That nothing in life is free. So if you think that you're doing something for free, you're
yeah.
very, very misguided.
God, it could be.
There's always
So,
there's always some exchange going on somewhere, isn't there?
anyway, so you got through this little robbery. I can imagine it's exactly how I'm thinking it probably. And then in the school, then you ended up the schools after. Do you remember like apartheid? Even though it's probably just as bad as it always was, but this sort of Nelson Mandela being released and things, ANC taking power. Do you remember that, or had you gone before that?
Well, actually, no, it was quite an interesting time. What I remember really was this kind of it was this whole campaign of the birth of the Rainbow Nation.
That's right, yeah.
And it actually felt like a really positive time. I think there was a lot of celebration happening. Everybody was, I remember it as a very positive time. I mean, the truth is that, I grew up in a country that was deeply racist.
Hmm.
And I had, it took me a lot of time to actually understand that and question that all. And it's something I never fully kind of really sat down with until I was in my 20s. And actually people around me questioned me and the thoughts I had. And I had to really sit down with it and really, really dig quite deep and do my own personal evolution, because you do grow up with a lot of indoctrination when you live in South Africa. And the people around you are deeply indoctrinated. So yeah, it kind of took me until I kind of got a bit older to really question how I felt about it all, and learn to think, you know, the way I do now. Thank goodness, because some people
Yeah.
never do that.
Well, you get it from both
Um,
sides. You get it from the woke left, like me, my sort of stupid woke leftist mentality would say, "Well, I've never met a nice white South African." And there's actually a spitting image. I don't know if you remember spitting image. It was like a satirical English TV show, and there was a song about I've never met a nice South African. And
it's
you
it's
put
funny. Sorry.
yeah, go on, because like I've got this prejudice. I immediately assume a white South African is not a nice person.
It's look, the thing is that such a strange country to come from, because on one hand, South Africans have like the best manners, for example. A lot of them, not all of them, maybe, but
Okay.
you are brought up in a very, our schools in South Africa were very much, they were very old fashioned. You had to follow rules, you had to respect your elders, you had to open the doors for anybody senior to you coming through, including the prefects. You had to put your hand up to speak. Um,
Right.
we were very, very, which I appreciate. I really appreciate actually how we were brought up and how people were brought up in this kind of in a system of a certain
Christian,
amount of, sorry?
Christian or Protestant or
It wasn't
Dutch?
Christian. It was just they were very intentional with manners. My parents would
Okay,
make me answer the phone and say, if you answer the phone, you say, it's Alessandra Mariotti speaking. How can I help you?
okay, good. That's cool.
Um, and when you spoke to, they'd have dinner parties, and then we would be allowed to sit at the table for the first hour and talk to their friends and learn how to converse with people and always say please and thank you. It was a very, very manner driven, it was a society driven by manners, at least the one I grew up in. And the schools were very much about learning how to have respect within that kind of, within that society, which I enjoyed, because when I went to Italy at the age of 10, I went to this countryside school and suddenly everything was different,
Right.
um and the kids were insulting the teachers and
Yeah.
swearing and walking out, and there was just complete anarchy. Um and it
Yeah.
was really quite surprising to me. And now when I do meet South African people from a similar background, I always go, oh wow, I love the manners. There's I love the way they speak to you, sometimes with a bit more respect, sometimes than maybe some more of my Italian contemporaries would. There's a way of treating, maybe there's just something within that I did enjoy. There are positive sides. There are some really lovely sides to the South Africans that I know, and there's warmth to them that I love. And they're not all. And a lot of the young people I know are very against the what happened, and they have educated themselves and
Hmm.
grown out of the indoctrination. A lot of the older generation, unfortunately, don't quite see how wrong it was, and they've been told all these stories to reinforce the beliefs of why it was necessary.
Right.
And you just kind of get to a point where you go, you know what, you've had a different life from me, I've had a different life from you. I'm not going to tell you how to think when your life has been so much longer and so much more different than mine. I can't understand you, and what you've been through. Therefore, I accept that you are who you are. And
But
yeah, you kind of have to a bit in life, I think.
but it's a real important lesson for the people that I met in Palestine because they would always use the South African example as a way of maybe some light at the dark tunnel they have. They would all say, well, and they were so happy, and there was a bit of hope when all the American college kids were doing what they'd done because that was how things changed in South Africa. It was American college kids that changed it. They went, and it's a shame that that got so put down very violently. And but that's what I'm trying to say is that's what the educated, not the educators and the professors and the people I spoke to there, they always said, look to the South Africa, what happened to give them hope.
But yeah, but actually, it was interesting that you brought that all up, because as I said, I remember a very strong campaign to change everybody's mentality. There was a very, very, when Mandela came out,
Hmm.
there was a strong campaign to get everybody on board with
Yeah,
this new nation.
worldwide. You mean worldwide?
Within South Africa, within South Africa.
Okay.
Yeah,
Right.
there was a very strong campaign to really, really get everybody on board with
From the
this
progressive ANC, but for the white people.
for the white people to be excited about this new nation.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Like media, I remember the cartoon strips that we read in the newspapers, movies, films. I mean, the World Cup, maybe that wasn't so close to them, but the World Cup was shortly afterwards. I think
Right.
Mandela became president pretty quickly. Um, and it was very much like, this is great. This is great news. So there was a strong campaign within South Africa. I mean, I was too young to understand
I didn't know there was a
any of.
liberal or a kind of left-wing media. I didn't know that. So there was a small, because you
I
don't get
guess
that
so.
in
I
Israel. For
mean,
example, in Israel, there's not really, it's 80, 90%.
yeah,
They're crazy, brainwashed people, and I feel sorry for them.
yeah.
I don't, I think so. It was different in South Africa. It wasn't such a
I,
large
I guess there
percentage.
must have been. Yeah, I guess there must be. I mean, again, as I was too young to understand the details, but but I definitely just remember this wave of positivity, actually,
which was interesting. Yeah, I've never really thought about it actually until you've asked that question. But what I do remember though was one of the strongest things that the world did to help the apartheid end was to I remember McDonald's, for example, would not open in South Africa because it was an apartheid state.
What? Wait. That's fucking bananas.
I think so. I think
Crazy
this.
because
I think
that's
yeah.
insane.
I think at the time there were multinationals that would not come to South Africa because it was an apartheid state. So they boycotted.
But they're the ones that are doing the apartheid state now. They're the ones that are Coca-Cola, McDonald's. That's the big ones. I don't know if you believe in boycotting, but I think it's great. And I stopped McDonald's and Coca-Cola. I don't think anyone should drink it anyway or eat
I
it.
mean,
But they're
yeah,
the one of
I
the,
did.
that's a
I've
big
not
one.
shopped a car. I've not shopped at Carrefour now
You've not
for
touched
a
a what?
while.
A what?
I haven't shopped at Carrefour. Carrefour.
Yeah, Carrefour is also, I mean, it'd be hard to avoid everything, like everybody, Lidl, all the petrol. I mean, it's really difficult. But just when you say
It's yeah.
McDonald's, that's crazy. Are you sure McDonald's didn't open
I
in
I
South
I
Africa?
will fact check that for you, but I
That's
do
fucking mad.
remember. I think yeah, I will I'll fact check that for you, but I think that was the case. I think McDonald's
Yeah.
was not allowed to open in South Africa as long as it was a apartheid state. Definitely one of the large. Yeah, I think
Yeah.
so. I need to fact check that for you. I think we had Steers and Wimpy.
Right. My God.
Yeah, yeah.
Look,
Uh,
the time is almost gone, and like, can we take a little stop, a break, and come back in 10 minutes, and then talk about your food and the positive stuff? Because I've not asked you one question, and that's crazy. You're amazing. Alessandra Mariotti. I still get it wrong, right?
no, that's good.
Yeah. Yeah, there's a couple of minutes here, and I always like to. Usually, sometimes with some people, I get 20 minutes and then it's gone, and that's so
It's not,
that. Do you mind taking a 10 minute and then doing another 40?
not at all, not at all.
And it'd be
It's
great
funny
if
because you discuss the kind of silence and awkwardness, but I don't think that's happened.
that's impossible. I've said it to the last three or four people. I spoke to Anna Alexandra. She was amazing as well. Do you know Anna Alexandra?
Yeah,
And yeah, there was no way we were getting any silence or awkwardness. She was great. And so I spoke to her a couple of days ago. And yeah, I mean, I've got 1,000 questions here. And yeah, what do you think about chia? Because
chia pudding,
chia, I've been saying
chia.
chia's really helping me at the moment because I have a problem with my guts and all that as well, and many things. And so I've not eaten this morning, and I had some chia, and I feel chia is working for me because I've got this. When
Chia.
I'm stressed out, I get a big fat beer belly when I'm stressed.
Yeah, chia is awesome because chia
Yeah,
also is it's one of the few plant sources of omega-3.
yeah, it really helps a lot.
Yeah. So you
Omega
can get your
3,
omega-3s from it, and you can get a decent amount of protein, and it is great fiber, and it keeps you feeling full for a long time.
and
It's really
people
good,
do it.
chia.
Yeah, people do it wrong because they put it in these fancy yogurts with fruits and all that. But I just put it in water, leave it overnight, and it's so cheap as well. It's not you can just get a whole packet. It lasts a few months.
It's so cheap, and yeah, it's not effective if you don't soak it. You have to soak it
Yeah.
for it to create its yeah,
3 or 4
absolutely.
hours. People just put it in their yogurt and they think, oh, then they have their matcha and then everything's fine.
You know, I'm a big fan of chia. I'm a huge fan of chia, actually. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Keep it
So
up with the chia.
we'll take 10 minutes and I'll try and get through all my questions, but we'll probably need to do this about 7 times to get anywhere because we're still
Yeah,
in
it's
the,
but no, I know I've appreciated the questions because these are things that I've yeah, it's nice to kind of go back into times that you haven't actually kind of you've helped me kind of remember things that I've forgotten, which is nice. It's really nice.
no,